So you try the Lovable Bolt Cloud Code or any of this new tool, you type in your idea, and at the end you actually got something. That feeling is awesome, it's real. So now let me show you what I've been using for over 10 years now as a product designer, what process I've been using. So at the end, AI will give you what you actually want. In this video, you will going to learn a framework called the process map. It's a 7-layer system that captures everything. What's happening step by step, what's happening in the background, what tools are you currently using, and where are the real opportunities are. So at the end of this video, you will be able to create this process map for your own problem, and that will change how you work with AI forever. Let's get into it. Now, if you want to jump straight into action, I added section to this video. Look for process map. You can jump there and start learning. But if you give me 2 minutes, I will explain you how does it work, so you will understand fully the concept and it gives you a mind shift. So here's what I've seen in these 10 years designing and building custom software products for clients. And this happens every time. I went to the new client, we start talking about the project, about the problem. And boss came in and he started to explain the problem clearly, confidently, what should we build, how should it work, etc, etc. But it was never the full picture. Not because they wanted to lie, they just tell us their ideal way of building and working. And the real life is never the same. If you are going deep into a process, we will see differences, we will see how the colleagues actually work on that, where are the bottlenecks, where are things that slightly someone is doing differently than we explain it. And at the end, if you are not going through this process properly, we will build a wrong product. From the client, you will get a clean version. But you need to understand all the workaround in the process. You need to understand how different colleagues solve the problem. And in most of the case, there will be one Excel sheet with only one person knowing the company. And you have to find that. So what do you have to do? Think like a product designer and start asking questions and start map the process. Ask about how are they working right now, what tools are they using, where are the blind spots, where are the bottlenecks, which part are taking longer than usual. Ask all the questions you can and understand the process. When you finally get the full picture, 3 things will change. First, you are not building features nobody wanted. It happens half of the time, I'm sure for that. Second, your AI tool gets real good directions because you understand the process, you understand everything. So you're not writing down, build me a quote management system. You will say that when the quote arrives, these 5 steps should be exactly happening and that data need to be stored. So it gives you the basic of your prompt. And third, you will have proper architectural choices. Because now you will know how much user types do you have, what data you need to store, you understand everything, your product will be better and it will be cleaner. So here is the mental shift. You are not building the product yet, you are not coding, you are not designing screens, you are mapping the process and understanding the flow. Maybe it's an old process you are just digitalizing, or it's a brand new process. Either way, you are mapping first, thinking first, and I have a really great tool for that. It's called the process map. It's based on a tool called service blueprinting. Product designers use it since 1980s. It's not a new tool. I adopted it and changed it during my 10 years of experience. The idea is simple. You are laying down your product on a timeline from a user perspective, from the first step till the last. And you are not just listing the steps, but you are viewing it from 7 different angles, from 7 different points. Let me walk you through it. Layer 1 is customer journey. Basically, your customer experience, every touch point, every interaction, you map down the whole process here. Layer 2 is front stage human action. Everything you are doing with the clients. You are responding to an email, sending a PDF, taking a phone call, everything that your customer is able to see, and you are doing that. And the third layer is the front stage, the technology, but the current one. It's important. So not you writing down your ideal version or what you want to build. You are mapping here what actually they are doing. They are using Gmail, you are taking a phone call, or even it's a post-it on a screen. You write it down. So these are the first three layers, which is in the visible area. Now, between layers 3 and 4, there is a line. You can see it's called the line of visibility. It's an important one. Everything above here, your customer are able to see. Everything below that line, it's invisible to them. It's important because you are designing a product, you are designing a software, so everything above that line will be interactable, it will be visible. You have to polish that perfectly. Everything below that is happening in the background, so keep in mind. Layer 4 is the backstage actions. So everything is happening in the background. You are storing some data, you are doing a calculation, you are even asking for another of your partner about an information, anything. You wrote down all the backstage action here. The support processes is everything what you are depending on. Think about a third-party tool, you have to buy some data, you have to use a third-party API, you need to do something. Even your email server is an external tool if you're buying from Google. So you have to write it down if it's in the process and you are depending on it and you have to pay for it. That's why there is a line of internal interaction here, because the information is moving around here a lot. You have to map that fully. So the next two layer is not part of the original map. I added that, but it's really important. Metrics and opportunities. In the metrics, roll down everything what you are able to measure, every KPI you are able to track about that step of the process. It's important because we are gonna improve our life, we're gonna improve our software, how we operate. So at the first step, we start to think about how we're gonna measure that we are actually improving or not. And the opportunities section, the layer 7, it's basically where your ideas will appear. We are not designing a product right now, so you not have it's not a decision, it's just an idea, so you can map everything down. Okay, it can be automated, maybe it's an important part to do, but it's not a decision yet, it's important. And one more thing to point you out, if I am scrolling at the top, as you can see, it's a timeline. So I have a typical duration row here. And it's important because our steps are never happening instantly. Sometimes they are asynchronous. So basically you will roll down a rough estimation about each of the steps. What does it take? Think about it. If you are creating a quote and you have to ask a subcontractor and he will answer in a week or so, then it's not a process problem, it's a dependency problem, and you have to map it on or wrote it down in your map, so your software will be able to handle these situations. Let me show you how does it work with a real example. Important, it's not a startup project, it's a real problem for a real company, so you can understand it how it goes. So meet Alex. Alex owns a small agency. They have a few simultaneous projects, maybe 3 at the same time. So Alex has a process for handling the quotes. Basically what she does is when an email arrives, she opens Google Sheet, copy and paste a new template, put there the information, sending to the contractor, updating the information on Google Sheet. She tracks there all the status changes and everything. It works, but it's extremely manual. And sometimes when she forget to go to the follow-up, she forget to update the status, so when the co-workers asking for information, they are seeing the wrong one. So it's not a proper one, it's a time for an update. So before this map that I will do with you, Alex just go to Lovable and type down, okay, I need a project management software with quotes and clients handle and email handle. Hit enter and done. But after the process, she will do it a little bit differently. Let's go dive in. The first rule, pick one specific law, do not map the whole process at start. So Alex picks with getting an inquiry via email and then reviewing it and clarifying it to question. So the customer journey is plain and simple. The email arrives, Alex read it, review it, and send questions back. So with the time, we should have to be realistic. Sometimes it's happened anytime during the day because you are reviewing your email, you have more than 100 emails, so it's not just a second to see it. And often she does not have enough time to answer instantly. So it's often on a second day. So the front stage human action is scanning the inbox, identifying and replying to the emails. Plain and simple. The front stage technology is just Gmail on the phone. Nothing crazy. There's no to-do app here, no extra special layer. No backstage actions happening. Basically just a mentally know that, okay, I have to do that sometimes, so I try to not forget. And the supporting process is here just the Gmail. So as you can see, it's straight and simple. We're just mapping out what's happening exactly. It's only 2 columns in, but Alex already starting to notice something. The real problem here, or the first problem here, is not that you have to create quotes. It's that she didn't notice it during the day, so the codes got lost and the request got lost. Now she continues, she creates the codes, which is basically 1 hour of work. She manually copy everything to the Google Sheet template, open a new tab, sending the quote and then wait for an answer. These are just basic steps. So the first 5 steps is done, and now it's time to add the metrics and the opportunities layer. But it's basically now, because you can see the whole person, the whole map, it's so easy that the most important metrics is the time between when you are receiving the need from a client via email and when you are answering that with a quote. And that time will be the key metric. And basically the opportunities is just fill them himself. Let's automate the process, let's help them with notifications and create a code builder which is automatically filling everything in the system, so you don't have to do it manually. It's so easy because now you are seeing the whole process, you are seeing the pain points, so you can fill it out. Now what Alex will do is continuing the whole process and fill out the whole map with all the steps when adding tasks and handling payment and everything. You can review the full one on my website. I'm not gonna steal more of your time with it. You can understand it how it goes and you can adapt it to your own problem. So before the mapping, Alex would create a project management tool with a quote submodule. But after mapping, she understands really well that the biggest bottleneck is she's not answering the quotes extremely fast and she's losing clients. So now the main focus point of the project is handling the quotation really well and handling the follow-up really well. Of course, it will have a task management and a project recording part, but it's a secondary problem, not the main problem. And that's why the mapping is so important. Let's wrap this up. So this map will become your master reference when you will build with AI. Each of the steps is a different task you have to build. Each of the layers is an important information for your AI, for your product requirement documentation, how the software should work. So your prompt will be grow, your clarity will be grow, and at the end your software will not just looks nice, but it will be do exactly what you want. So what you should do next is grab a problem you want to solve and pick a specific part of it and start mapping and start understanding every step. Now today I showed you an internal tool example, but this system it works as well for customer facing product. The steps are different. Of course, Your thinking of it are different, but the layers are the same. In my lesson, in the learn.ideatefrommvp.com, I give you two different examples, one with Alex, but the other one is a customer-facing product. So if you're building like that, check that out and understand how does it goes. If it was useful for you, please subscribe. I am building a whole series about what to do before starting building with AI and how to think about the software products. So see you in the next one.